Good morning again, everybody. Yes, I'm actually done some work on myself. This is amazing. This time that we have, where we're actually having to reflect on our own self with people that we're dealing with within family and even friends. This is without even getting people coming in and writing in about what they want advice on. So this time I'm actually, this is the chart that I've actually done before. Now I'm actually dealing with Chiron. Now Chiron now is transiting in Aries. And this is about consciousness raising for everybody. So this reflects on everybody, and depending where Chiron is in your chart, if you don't understand astrology, well, that's okay. This is just another tool that the ancients used. They dealt with the stars. So and other ancient civilizations also. So with Chiron, this is my triangle here. Emotional and astral is Saturn. That's the physical. And then in the middle, there is soul, a Chiron return, crisis of meaning. So that's basically when you're about 40, 42. And then we've got the outer planets, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. Now, Pluto is key to self-mastery. Neptune is key to emotional ecstasy. Don't need any tablets for that. And Uranus is the key to independence. So Chiron here, it takes 51 years to come to a conjunction, so they have intervals. And in 1986, the spiritual aspect came in, where it's actually triggered past lives, and that's why the interest of past lives has come in, so that we can actually utilise past lives. Not to hang on to them or think that, we're the Queen of Sheba or whoever, to make us feel good. It's about everyday living. We've all been through all aspects of living and in all different cultures. So it depends on what takes you back and what you can learn from that, so that you can actually put it forward in this lifetime. Okay, so join with the collective consciousness. Chiron in Aries is about the wound. Now, we're all born with a wound. And Aries is very much about independence, authenticity. And with its dealing now, everybody, wherever it is in your chart, mine's in my 5th house, just to give you an example, which rules creativity, affairs, children. So my Aries is in that segment. So what's happening with me? 8 degrees Aries is the transiting place now, and it's actually trining my Saturn in my 9th house, which is about higher learning. And that basically is telling me that I've come from a number 1, dealing with anger, frustration, and also deals with resentment. So everybody out there, if you've got those 3 negatives, this is what you really have to work towards. And Chiron in Aries is actually pushing us into situations that we're not familiar with, that we don't want to deal with, because we've come from a very Libran type of, we'll balance things out. We don't really like to confront. Okay, so I thought, now low self-esteem and fear and irrational beliefs I'm working with, so that we can get an individual sign of your Chiron. Now all you need to do is email me at whatnowspirit@gmail.com, or if you know what sign, it's generational too, so that we all, it's like that song, what is it? that we always blame the generation before. So that's what Chiron is. It comes in generations, so that we've all got the same sort of thinking, and we all have to think about the same way how we're going to move forward. Okay. So this is the individual consciousness that I'm just saying, and then I can email you back if there's any issues, and then there's simple exercises that you do yourself to work out where your wound is, because through working through that wound, which mine number one life lesson is anger. So I'll just tell you quickly my story about that so that you get a bit of an idea, because this is all about not blaming, not putting it on anybody else. It's about working out where we need to, where we've come from, but then leave that in the past, and then now where are we going? Okay, so mine was in Scorpio. My Chiron's in Scorpio. That means deep grief. And mine was passive anger that I carried through. Now my mother had, and my blame was towards my mother, even though you know, we've talked about this, there's no blame now because there's forgiveness. But what you've got to work back to is what we did before. We blamed. We always had somebody else to blame. But I look back and just reflected on my mum's journey with her relationships. And growing up, they were quite confronting to me and my brother. At the age of 7, I had to change my name. My name was Ross, and my mum remarried, and so and then I was Pearson, and that was a shame for me at school. And so I carried that. That was okay. And then at 14, so that was a loss, a deep loss of my father going out of my life. And that was the last time that I actually saw him. Then at 14, that triggered it also with the Saturn return at 14. My brother, who was 22 months older than me, we were very, very close. And with mum's sort of upheaval in her relationships, my brother left home at 16 and I was 14. And that was another deep loss of a male in my life. So that made me figure out, and once I worked through all my anger, passive anger, and then my relationship issues, I realised that was my deep grief of not having a good role model, and then losing the role models that I had in my mind that they were perfect for me. So that's just an example. So really, once you know the sign and the reason, so there's exercises that you go through, and through life experience, this is what you know, we learn about. So anyway, so Chiron is the wound, and so the perfectionist, which is the positive of the number one life lesson, which I actually also do and show you the charts in my fun learning. And I thought, I'm never a perfectionist, because I am really just a doer, and I didn't before plan, or I just go with my gut feeling. So now, I didn't understand that when I was young, but now I realise my MeWe, the training that I'm doing now, which I love and enjoy, is because I've been through this myself. So it actually makes me relive and go through and just keep on the positive, and not go back and delve into the past too much. So that's just an example of perfectionist that this word was, which I thought, I'm never a perfectionist. But guess what? I am now, and that's why I'm doing YouTubes at home. I can't get out, we can't do workshops. So this has been a blessing to me, because I can take this anywhere. I can travel, I can do what I want to do, and this YouTube I can use, go to different communities if they're wanting to understand, because I'm still very much the me, we, the Wurra Warren is knowing and believing. I still actually push my traditional First Nations people here in Australia, but this relates to all the Indigenous who used astrology, astronomy, all the ancient tools that I actually deal with, and then are putting them into this part of history that we're heading towards, okay? And big changes on the way. So anyway, thank you for listening, and so I hope you enjoy my little segments. So they'll be coming up because I feel this is really important, and I can use my books that I take snippets out, and so I'm just doing what I love doing. So that's what we all need to be doing. Creativity will set us free. Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.